And the most important thing we need to gather are our supplies. So I'm going to go through all of our supplies. You don't need to watch the video. We've got a list. But I'm going to go through everything to give a detailed account of what some of these supplies are in case you don't know, and what are the sizes and maybe some of the brands that you're going to need for all of this mixed media alchemy. So part one, we're going to talk about what supplies you need, and part two, we're going to talk about how you're going to pack it up and get it here. When it's time to gather our supplies, it's important to take a look at the PDF, and that's going to have a detailed description of everything from your accoutrements to your supplies. And then we're also going to have another PDF that's a download version that's just going to have the bullets. So that one's going to be really easy to pack your stuff up. Just read through it. Just want to make sure that you're getting the right things that you need. We both recommend glue sticks, and I like these Avery's because they dry clear, but when I put it on, it's purple. So I can see where my glue is and where it is not. And in these little boxes, you can get them. Avery's fairly inexpensive, probably going to be plenty for the week. And you want to get the big ones, not the small ones. On my art table for both my studio stuff and my workshop stuff, I keep all my brushes and standing things in a can. So if you guys want to bring something to stand your brushes and stuff next to you, that's a great idea. So the next thing on your list is scissors, but we're going to have plenty for you guys. But if you want to bring your own and put them in your checked bags, you can do that. Brushes, you know, I usually have one that's a little bit bigger, but you can see I really like just these littles for my journal work. And we're going to have a lot of brushes for you, but they're all going to be kind of crappy like these, which I love crappy brushes because I can get some fun lines with it. But I also like to have, you know, some that are good so I can get a clean line. If I need to get up close to something, I can get a nice clean line. You know, I have my little boxes that I keep my pens and markers in, and sometimes when I'm traveling, then I stick in here brushes that fit, and then I've got everything in one place. Stamp pads. I love my stamp pads. I love my StazOn. These are great. They're going to print on anything. I also have some of these other ones because StazOn doesn't make a really great and strong red. So I like to have a different brand in a red, kind of a bloody red. With me, I like to have my black, my red, and this saddle brown is a nice little antique-y color. And that's probably more than enough. I really feel like mainly black and red are really what we like to use. I love my Pitt pen markers. It's always nice to have a couple of markers in your favorite colors. These Copics are good, but they bleed through, so they're not really my favorite. I have some watercolor markers, but again, they bleed in a different way, so I don't really like those. I have them. I use them. This is all my favorite stuff, and I keep them in this little bin with my little pencil sharpener, my and then mine's broken, but even still, I would have it open, and then I would stretch them out like this so I can see everything. Markers, pencils, my eraser, little crayons that I like, colored pencils. They don't make these anymore, but these are really great. And I love my Poscas. Poscas are good. You have to experiment because every brand is a little different. Every color and every brand is a little different. I like these Molotovs, but unfortunately, the colors bleed. White is pretty good, but I don't know, if you put varnish or something over it, or another paint over it, it's going to bleed. But I do like their white, and I like the thickness of the nib. So all of these have different nib sizes, you know, shorter, longer. Some of them are brush. Do I have a brush? Yeah, no. Some of them have a brush tip. These are the new. They discontinued this line. And it just was these Pitt pens by Faber-Castell are just juicy markers. And they say they're not markers, they're pens. Their new line has a thin end and then a brush end.
and they're really nice. I use these on paintings. The colors are so rich and juicy. I love these. So, you know, maybe a couple of these in your favorite colors. I only bought these two in this new shape and size, and I love them, but these are really my favorite colors. That's all I need. Yellow ochre, and then some writing pens, China markers, and Sharpies. We'll have a lot of stuff for you guys to experiment with. So, you know, maybe just bring a few different kinds of things and a few different kinds of colors, and then if they all fit in your can, that's great. So something that works on dark surfaces, and that's definitely going to be your paint markers, your gel pens, sometimes watercolor crayons, depending on the color, will show up. Colored pencils will show up. Some, you know, just it always depends on the color of the background and then the color of the pencil, whether or not it shows up. I like my white China marker, and then these are the paint markers I'm not using right now, but you know, they've got giant ones. These are really nice. This brand, OOLY, and it's a double tipped. They look like markers, but they're paint. And I'm not sure if these bleed or not, but I've got the gold and the silver and the bronze. I think they came in a kit, but they're really nice, and they write on those surfaces. I've never been successful with gel pens. They just, and my paint and the way that I work, they just stop working, so that's no fun. But all different kinds of sizes, all different kinds of brands. I'm always buying new ones to experiment, and then I don't like them, and then I just go back to, you know, my basics and my favorites. But I've got extras here, and especially black. Black and white, I usually try to have a couple extras so that when I run out, I'm ready to go. Collage. I keep my collage that I take, like I have that bin that I showed in the video. I take that from the studio and into the house and back and forth, because sometimes I like to work inside when I'm watching a movie. And what is collage stuff? It can be anything. You know, you can buy any of these crazy things that other people make and use them. You know, book pages that you tear up, weird pieces of plastic, you don't even know what it is. And, you know, I have these things that I draw on, and then I tear them up. Graph paper, old drawings that I tear up and put in here. Acetates that I make and collect. Oh, and I take pages out of my books because they're they're getting too tight. I just tear the page out, and I save them and put them back in another book. So it's just paper, like cards people give me, old photographs that I collect. It's really kind of anything, you know, fish. And this one is more pirate themed, because that's usually what I'm working on, my pirate journals. And this is too much. You're not even going to need this much stuff. So you want to think about how you're going to bring it. And you could stuff a few things in a folder. You could get sort of a skinny paper box or photo box to stick some collage things in. You just need a small handful of different random things. Paper images that you like for whatever reason, and stick them in, but try to limit it, because for us, less is going to be more. There's going to be so much on our tables, you guys. It's going to be overwhelming, and that's good. That's how we like it. And this is my travel folder with the stencils that I use the most. And we'll have a lot of stencils there for you guys to experiment with. But if you have some stencils that you love and you want to bring, you know, any other optional items that are your favorites and you want to bring them, transfers, rubber stamps, glitter glue. And I have like a little old Kodak paper box that I keep my pirate postal stamps in. And these are the stamps that I usually have with me in that bin I told you I take from inside the house and outside the house. Pirate stamps, more pirate stamps in these little cigar boxes, more pirate stamps, you know, and then this one just fits right in here. So everything we bring, we want to be compact. I love my peg letters, and these are so old. I mean, they're so dirty. I have to clean these often, you know, with my StazOn, they need to be cleaned. But these are a great letter set, and they make them in all different sizes. And one of the reasons they're so good is that the letter, which you can't see, is really contained, within the box. And a lot of rubber stamps, let's see this one. Oh, that one's cut out pretty good. A lot of letters, like a lot of rubber stamps, your image is here. And because the rubber goes all the way to here, you see the black on here, that ends up printing on your paper. And I think that's true just of a lot of letter rubber stamps. Like the letters here, there's all this extra space, and then it's getting printed. And also because they're so big, like I know exactly where my letter is. It's just right here in this square. Plus your finger goes right in this little loop thing, and they're just easy to print. Any other letter sets that I use, I can't get them straight, and I like them to be lined up. We'll have plenty of tape for you guys, but if you're like me, you have your favorites. And hopefully I won't bring all this. I tend to want to bring everything. I haven't used it in a million years, so I want to bring everything. But here's my tapes. Cool washi tapes. This one's actually, someone gave this to me. This is on fabric. It's like canvas. That's cool. This is sort of a clear tape, masking tape in these sizes if you want to have your own, because otherwise everybody's got to kind of share with the stuff that's in the center. We'll have plenty of paint for you guys, and some of these craft paints, which we love. We love this matte finish. And we'll also have some more expensive acrylics. This is the Nova paint brand. And we'll have a lot of different paints, a lot of different colors. But if you have, some of your favorites or your favorite colors that you like to use, bring them. But just don't bring a whole set of anything. Don't bring too much. Especially if you're, flying here. Don't bring too much. And any other things that you, really can't live without. We're really going to want to pare down. There's going to be so much there at the studio available for you. And the great thing about that is that you have to work with our supplies. So yes, bring some of your favorites, but push yourself to use stuff that you've never used before, that you don't know anything about. If you've ever taken a class with me, you know that most of my supplies don't work. And the exciting thing about that is that now you're challenged to solve problems that you wouldn't otherwise have to solve. And that's really what one of the important aspects of visual journaling is, solving the problems that we set up for ourselves. So if you don't have any problems to solve, you don't really have any work to do. Like, you already know what you're making, and you're just going to make it, and you're just going to get there. But if you keep encountering these mistakes along the way, like, oh, I wanted to make this thing, but that pen's not working. Oh, I have to use this other thing, and oh my God, it just bled over my page. Whoa, is that cool? So we want to allow ourselves to make mistakes, and so we have to often use the unknown in order to get there and do that. Challenge yourself to use our stuff. Bring some of your favorites.